Hello, and welcome to our group's video on Tokugawa Japan. Our group consists of Camden Baker,
Joe Carroll,
and Sean Cunningham. The Tokugawa Shogunate was the largest period of uninterrupted peace Japan ever enjoyed. However, it was at the cost of national seclusion. The Tokugawa period was a time of great leaders as well as the flowering of Japanese culture. Japan in the 16th century had a chance to play a big role in Asian trade and relations, but before they realized they had this chance, they were cut off between themselves and others. Before the Tokugawa ruled, the government of Japan was based off a feudalistic type society. There was a great leader, but he had more of a spiritual influence. The real power lied within the government and the elite military class known as the daimyo. The daimyo were mostly made up of samurai warriors. These people were like the warlords that owned extensive amounts of land.
Japan at this time was a diarchy, meaning two political powers. The emperors headed the spiritual aspects of life in Japan, while the daimyo had the actual power. Between 1568 and 1600, a time known as a period of natural unification. This power was eventually found, but there were a few threats that came along with it. The daimyo were mad that their power had been taken away from them, and the other being the Tokugawa policy of national seclusion attempted and exceeded in eradicating the influence of Western society in Japan. There was only one ship each year that went from Japan to Europe, and they only traveled to the Dutch, and only traded from one port called the port of Deshima. Not even foreigners were allowed inside the borders of Japan.
This was called the Mandate of Sakoku. Since there was no need for the navy, all open sea vessels were destroyed. This mandate lasted for more than 200 years. Though they were economically isolated, there were many advantages that came with this mandate as well. The main being they achieved complete peace in their country. This lasted for around 200 years. This peace was something new for Japan because their past had been centuries of violence. Another advantage to this system was that Japan was able to flourish in the arts and keep a stable economy based on agriculture. In the end, though, Japan would recognize that they were scientifically behind everyone else, and they would have to end the mandate and become once again united with the Western civilizations. Hopefully,
You
have
enjoyed
our
presentation
and
learned
a or
two
about
Japan
under
the
rule
of
the
Tokugawa,
clan
narrated
by
Camden,
Baker,
Joe
Carroll, and not Sean Cunningham.